Oh, hey there. Welcome back to the bonus episode of Only Stupid Answers exclusively for you beautiful people over here on Patreon. I am the voice of Sam Basher. Welcome back over here. If you turn your head over there, that guy over there, that's DJ.
That's me.
Blink at him. One little blink.
Thank you.
And over to your left, we have a very special guest. Go ahead and blink at him. That's Jason Inman. How you doing?
Hey, I don't know how do they know which way to turn?
Left, right.
Is this an ASMR experience?
It's 360 sound.
Oh, nice. Nice.
So they just follow the voices around. How you doing?
Good, guys.
This is your 50th time on the show?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
does this count? Because I've heard I heard now Mod is beating my record now.
I don't
think that's true.
I think they're trying to start something.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
They're trying to start a podcast between me and Mod?
Yeah, I don't think that could possibly be true.
A couple people were like, Mod beat your record. And I'm like, no.
No, I don't think that's true. And this definitely counts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
By the way, when we've rated stuff, there is someone starting a spreadsheet to go ahead and average out all of our dumb scores. But today, big day.
Yes.
Big boy day, big boy people day. We're going to be talking about the 3 finales of CW's we're missing Legends. The 3 big ones.
The big boys.
Supergirl, Flash,
Yes.
and Arrow, which is the winner. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move our way through
that
it.
is true. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. But we do
Do
want
you want to
to
go to the close runner-up maybe with Supergirl? Just
Yes.
start.
Or is it?
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
what
it
you're
is.
going to have to... Wait, no, spoilers. You got to find out.
And the episode is over.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And you contributed. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, Jason, what did you think of the Supergirl finale?
You know, it's funny. I really liked it. I was saying this earlier on one of my videos. I thought that the episode kind of peaked in the first 10 minutes. Like these
After the fight?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Superman Supergirl fight was so awesome
So
that
cool.
there was no way anything else in that episode was going to beat it.
I don't know. Callista Flockhart was in the rest of that episode.
She's good.
And
She's good.
These past 2 episodes, I've been like, it's almost like the rest of the season has sucked because it didn't have her. Like, you
Yeah.
forget how much she adds to the
much she has-
show.
Let me ask you guys a question. I kind of came up with this thought yesterday. Was Supergirl season 2 just kind of the CW's redux of season 1? Because there's a lot of similar story beats.
I don't know if it was completely because you had all the Guardian stuff they were trying to do. But it is, I would say it's more, instead of like a redo, it's more like a reboot. Like, it almost felt like its own first season.
This almost feels like season 1 of Supergirl.
I agree. And I enjoyed it far more than the first season. Except for, I rewatched that Red Kryptonite episode, and I still really like that from the first season.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of season 1, even though this season's very different. And I enjoyed most of this season. However, I got kind of burned out on Mono. I was a little...
I did too.
Yeah.
We threw him into space. Don't worry.
I'm
He's
kind
gone.
of glad he's gone. I really am. It's funny for 2 people that are actually dating in real life. I never bought their chemistry ever.
I
Really?
bought their chemistry. I was really on board early on, and then there was a big swath like in the middle chunk of the second half that was like all Mon-El all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, we need to dial
need
it back a
back
little
this
bit.
You had to set up Rhea. Okay, when the penultimate episode, when they this is the problem, this is what's gonna happen, I completely forgot that we have to build the season to a big problem. And I was like, when Rhea was doing her evil stuff, I was like, oh yeah, shit, she's been here. I don't know. This season was really weird at building up to something. It was more just things are happening and they're interesting, but nothing's building
For
to
me,
anything.
my favorite part, I love the beginning fight, although maybe cool it on the explosions in the background every punch.
Oh,
that was a
man.
little weird. Why does that?
I was more about why is Alex and Maggie just sitting here almost about to get crushed by rubble for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
They were it was like a Scooby-Doo aspect where they're just
Ooh, do I love that the laser vision melting or vaporizing some of the water?
But I do love this show for giving me what Smallville always refused to. They actually fight. She actually punches things. Sure, sometimes the CGI is not the best. I don't care.
Yeah.
Willing suspension of disbelief. I'm into it. I don't give a shit.
That's an excellent point.
You mean when the White Martians fight? And
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
He's right. As a Smallville kid, just like you, this show embraces Superman more than that show ever did, and that show starred Superman.
Yeah, we had Clark Wolf on, and she and I were talking about. I bring this up every time I really dive into Supergirl. It's the Superman show I've always wanted.
Yeah,
it just happens to star Supergirl.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you remember that that Smallville episode where it's the cage match where they brought in that one random wrestler that had spikes in his hands. And it's the one time they're like, "Hey, we're going to do the fight," and it was fine. It was fine, But it's like, is that it? Why can't you do that every week?
I feel like that happened. That show was on for 10 years. That may have happened more than once. Yeah, I think
I remember there was one episode that they were really hyping, like, hey, he's finally going to fight somebody. He's not just going to rush into the room and shove somebody into the wall.
Well, that's the best, though.
I remember there was the Doomsday season of Smallville, and it built up to this giant epic. It built up to this giant epic fight, and then the end fight is you see Doomsday, you see Clark in a fit of super speed pushes him into a power plant. The power plant explodes. They cut to commercial. Yeah. We come back and they're like, "Hey, Clark, how'd you defeat Doomsday?" And he's like, "Oh, I buried him in the cement in the plant." And that's that was it. It happens off camera.
That was
exciting.
That was a weird season.
Thank God for Supergirl, where not only do we get a big Supergirl Superman fight, we also, my favorite part was when everybody's doing everything to stop everybody.
Yeah.
My favorite bit is when Rhea's like, "Hey, my lackey, go take on Superman," and Superman takes him out pretty quickly. He's like, "Well, I tried." And it's like, that feels like the perfect Superman reaction to almost every battle. It's like, good try, man. Like,
because he's so positive.
Yeah.
I loved a lot of this, but if I'm going to just point out a few gripes, whenever Superman spoke, it was just like, look how great Kara is. And it was like, I get
it's her
it.
show,
no,
man.
it is, but you don't need everyone on the show saying how great they are. Yeah. Like, we got it. Like, I'm watching the show because I actually really like Kara. Yeah. I think she's a really cool character. And Superman there, I actually just want to know how they work together instead of comparing himself and her to each other. Like, it doesn't. I was like, just say dialogue. Don't just say facts. Like, I'm moving this fast and you're this strong, so you must be stronger than me.
I'll say two things to that. One is, it is comic book canon that Kryptonian females are stronger than Kryptonian males. That's the reason why Power Girl is stronger. So I actually was like, yeah, Power Girl. Two, that is kind of like the story structure problems of the CW for budgetary reasons. Like, it was the whole reason why we had to bench John for the entirety of last episode, because you were like, if she just teamed up with John, this would be over.
Yeah.
Nope. We can't afford him. We can't afford him.
I have noticed Martian Manhunter is just the size of David Harewood now. Like, he doesn't become big anymore. He's
he used to be big.
Yeah. I still love it whenever they try. Like, every time they trot him out, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I've got Martian Manhunter on my TV. Like, I live in a blessed time.
Yeah.
Even though, like, man. Anyway, a couple questions. We're left with a couple questions.
Let's hit them.
Big one for me is, are we getting Cat Grant back? Because I don't think we can, but they leave it on kind of like, hey, I'm around now.
I have a feeling, and I'd love to hear your guys' thought. I have a feeling we'll have Kat for episode 1 of season 3, and then they'll give us another reason for why she leaves again.
She really misses that yurt.
Well, it's weird. It's weird because I think the reason they said that why she left the show in the first place is because she lives here and she has like a kid in school, and she's like, I really enjoy taking my kid to school every day, and I can't do that in Vancouver. Yeah, terrible, right? But yeah, like, so I think she'll be around, because you are right, man. Like, as soon as she showed up, you were like, man, I have been missing this so much.
Yeah, well, for me, it was last episode when they went out, and we talked about this with Ashley last week, when she's on the dumpster and all this crazy stuff is going on, and she just kind of like sums it up and like, hey, you save people, you should save your boyfriend, and it just grounded everything, all the nuts stuff that's going on. She just made it really relatable. I'm like, yeah, that is what needs to happen.
you made me think of like something that I forgot. A positive of this episode. Thank God they finally confirmed that Cat Grant knows she's Supergirl.
Oh no, that was so sweet. Because I
hate that stuff where these characters don't know.
I teared up. No, the whole, after we got Mon-El leaving, which we do have a tweet about Mon-El we'll get to in a second, but after Mon-El left, and like you just see Kara just trying to like deal with it, like you had every friend taking their turn of going out and being like, you're great, right? And like Mon-El, like, it's sad, but you're great, and you'll bounce back. And then at the end it was just like, yeah, finally Kat and Kara just be your mom for a second, because this is great. And I thought that's the best. Arrow had a really good ending, but I think that was my favorite like ending to the episode. I was like, this is just so like,
with the exception
sad.
of the song.
The sad. Wait,
I hated that song.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. Like,
I was like, hey, this is Smallville.
Sam's a sucker for the songs.
Oh,
he likes the songs.
Like the song in the trailer for the Flash finale. I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry.
You liked the song in the last episode too.
It was real good.
I actually liked the song from the penultimate episode of the Flash, where it was like, you see Iris's vows. I thought that song was really good.
It was the song where he's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 sad. That's
the one. Yeah. You are a music guy.
I am. Now there's a big question coming out of the finale, but I'm going to save that for our tweet question. Sam, do you have that?
Get ready.
Yeah.
Close your eyes. Here it comes. Well, I can't. That was too small. Okay, Vanny at Vanny J. What were your thoughts on Mon-El's exit? Do you think they'll use him again soon? Legions of Superheroes, or leave him be a while?
He's 100% going to come back sometime next season.
I vote the winter finale.
You know what? I think that might...
It's probably a good prediction, yeah.
Yeah, and that's because probably first half of the season we'll deal with the other question that we'll get to in a minute with the finale, the very end of the episode and what that means. That'll probably be first half of season 1. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, Legion of Superheroes back half of season 2.
All of them.
Everyone.
Every member.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, I think he was pulled into the 31st century.
So you think they're skipping over the whole stuck in the Phantom Zone for however long thing?
Yeah. Well, because we've already changed so much of Mon-El already.
Yeah.
Like this whole season has been like completely different from traditional
Which
Mon-El.
by the way, I'm completely okay with that because I could not tell you one characteristic about classic comic book Mon-El. He's just bland Superman replacement. Like that's what he is to me.
He's very kind and he will do the right thing no matter what, even past Superman. Like they had a very interesting scene in this episode where you kind of got a hint to Injustice where where Superman was like, man, faced with the decision of like, basically killing Lois.
Be careful with Injustice 2 spoilers because I haven't finished it yet.
I haven't finished it either.
Oh, okay, cool.
Don't worry. I'm too busy doing those stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe in level 3, so it's fine. But Injustice, like Clark made the thing where he was like, I couldn't have sacrificed Lois.
Yeah.
And it's true. He wouldn't have. Mon-El would have been the person that would have sacrificed. Mon-El would have chided, classic comic book Mon-El would have chided Superman for that.
So, and maybe we're kind of at that Mon-El now. Maybe
Hopefully.
that took season 2 to get him there because that's kind of was his arc the whole season. Yeah. So is there another option that is bad and that we don't want, but other option than 31st century? Because we want 31st century.
I think we're getting that. I don't really expect the writers to go too crazy with it. I think he's just going to go straight there.
The bad option is that portal just leads him to the Phantom Zone, which I think would just be a kind of lazy kind of okay.
Now,
I guess.
Do they introduce another love interest for first half of season 3, or I would kind of like to see if we do 31st century love triangle between Kara and
5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially I like that one because he's related to a bad guy. Yep. That makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing, we've already established in season 1 of the show, Brainiac's in this universe.
I want to see him.
Yeah, with Indigo in season 1 is a offshoot of Brainiac.
Yeah.
And she mentions Brainiac a couple times. There's a couple times you see on computer monitors the 3 dots in that episode. So Brainiac exists in this universe. Kara knows what Brainiac is.
Yeah, so I'd like to think that the Superman has fought Brainiac at least once because that's my one gripe with this show is that every time we introduce a classic Superman character, like Superman hasn't fought him.
Yeah,
and it's like,
the other interesting thing about this whole Legion stuff, and I really want it to be Legion, is that there have been 2 major Legion Easter eggs in this entire second season that they have yet to activate or talk about, but they're not putting them there lightly.
What are they?
Lyra is from a planet, and I can't remember the name of the planet. That planet is the home of Shadowlass from the Legion of Superheroes.
Starhaven. I just remember.
Is it Star?
That's what they said in the thing. They said Starhaven.
And then
fun fact.
The president, Linda Carter, she's a Durlan. A Durlan is what Chameleon Boy in the future Legion of Superheroes is.
Did you read New 52?
Fuck yeah. That's fucking cool.
Did you read New 52 Teen Titans?
Yes.
Was a Durlan in there for a second?
I don't think so.
Was it? Is it the orange?
He's the orange guy with the antennas.
Okay, so they did have those. So they can take on attributes of
in
other
fact,
characters.
when they first introduced Lyra and she said the planet of like where she was from, I actually originally was like, oh, she's an undercover member of the Legion. But then they did that really dumb episode where she's just an art thief, and I was like, oh, I'm not as impressed.
That was
not as.
You needed Wynn to do something, and it wasn't great.
Yeah. So I'm hoping for 31st century. I'm also hoping at some point we get a payoff to the very slight hint we got at New Gods in season 1 with Club Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Season 5 maybe. Anyway, now the big finale, which my wife came in and I was like, I have zero idea what is happening right now. Like I have no idea what they're setting up. Like I can't, my brain can't connect to any, like I was searching through because she comes in, she's like, oh, what's this? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea
what this is.
So we introduce a third Kryptonian spacecraft baby. Which, be careful, Supergirl, because Flash has done the same villain 3 seasons in a row, and it's kind of hasn't really paid off. So
that's what I was saying.
Cool
this was maybe a little bit of a redux. This is the second season in a row where we've had an alien invasion, and Supergirl fights a superpowered brunette.
No, Mon-El goes back in time, becomes the baby that they put into.
Jesus.
Okay, so I've read some because I had nothing. The closest thing I could come to is like maybe Hell. And at first, my reaction was, "Don't do Hell on Earth." But then I was like, "Well, maybe you can make it good. Maybe that's the one you should do because."
And Hell does have a connection with Supergirl.
Sure. So
what is Hell's connection? What is?
I don't know. I didn't skip all of it.
He fell in love with her. So he was the New 52's first attempt to basically bring back Bizarro. He was like a scientist guy who worked with Jor-El, and you found out that he was in one of the pods as well. And then he came to Earth and kind of got screwed up by the Phantom Zone. But he convinced Kara to be like, "Hey, I was Kryptonian like you, and Cal's stupid because our planet was awesome."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think they said the name.
Well, I mean, unless it's one of the
very
hints. Because
hard.
here's one of the other the suggestions I heard was maybe changing Doomsday's origin and it's baby Doomsday. Fine. Although I do have something I want to run past you guys.
That was Smallville's, by the way.
I do. I have.
Right.
I would like to see. I think Supergirl is primed to do a really great take on the death of Superman, where Superman dies at the first 2 episodes of a season, and then the rest of the season is Kara oh shit, I'm it now.
Do you think they'll do that since they just did that in the movie last year?
I would say I think it would be good for the beginning of season 4.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Or maybe even season 5 after you do the New Gods. I just think there's a lot of... It's the perfect way to do it because if you do it in a Superman property, it's he's coming back. But in this one, it's no, it's Supergirl's show. You could have the whole season. You have to have the whole season without Superman anyway.
Yeah.
And so she could deal with Steel. She could deal with the Eradicator. She could deal with... Never mind. We already have... I'm Cyborg Superman.
You have 2 Cyborg Supermans.
Anyway,
you get to play with.
So I would like them to do.
Yeah.
The other thing I read is a character from New 52 that I'm not familiar with, who's called Rain.
I've heard about that character too, but I'm not familiar with him either.
Based on what I've read, that I'm down for because apparently, Sam, you've done some research as well, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. The Kryptonians took other alien babies, not Kryptonian, raised them to, what are they called? God killers?
It's like planet kill. It's something killer.
Yeah, something to be the ultimate warrior, death beings, whatever.
Okay.
Which evil cult, whatever. She's a Supergirl villain specifically.
And you probably nailed it. That's
there's supposed to be 8 of them, and there's and they're trying to find the missing one, and it's implied that the missing one might be Doomsday. So of those options, I think that would be cool, if for no other reason that even though it's coming from Krypton, it's not a Kryptonian. So
yeah, you're probably right because they did say long may their reign.
Yeah.
You're probably because my first thought went to I was like, oh, are they gonna do the Smallville version of Doomsday? But because the reason I thought about Doomsday was because that baby cries until she cuts her fingers and feeds it blood, and when it gets fed blood, it shuts up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's got to be Doomsday. But I'll go research Rain. That's probably exactly who it is.
It's a pretty short run. I don't know about taking other babies. Probably that's what it is because I didn't research too hard. But that is her name. And it would be kind of fun to give her an original character from the comics that she can play around with.
Well, that's something I really liked in season 1, that they incorporated characters like Livewire and Silver Banshee that have more of a relationship with Supergirl than they necessarily do with Superman, even though they're Superman villains.
Yeah.
Because I think it's always cool when that's also a thing I liked about Arrow, where it's hey, Batman has a lot of villains. All right, we can take a few of them and make them Green Arrow villains. Yeah. I'm I like it. I like it when characters have their own set of rogues, which is why it's disappointing.
Well, it's also
that Flash hasn't really utilized his amazing set of rogues.
Exactly, it's the same thing. Right now, between the two of you, who is Green Arrow's biggest comic book villain? Who's his arch nemesis?
From what I understand,
you want to say it on 3?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Merlin.
You are correct.
Yeah.
But
He's it.
You are correct. Yeah. But it's funny
and
now.
Count Vertigo. I give Count
Vertigo, but it's and that's so interesting because I think now most people would say Deathstroke.
Which please.
Deathstroke didn't become his villain until Identity Crisis. Deathstroke and Green Arrow didn't even fight until Identity Crisis. So.
but I'm all for that because again, it's like when they announced him for the Batman movie. It's why? You don't get anything interesting out of Batman by giving him Deathstroke. Deathstroke pulls interesting things out of the Titans, and he pulls interesting things out of Green Arrow.
Yeah.
And I think he's better utilized.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Deathstroke has now set himself up as the arch nemesis of Green Arrow now. Deathstroke.
I was so happy to see him back. Anyway,
yeah,
we're not talking about that yet.
But if you're gonna rate out of
what's our rating for the whole episode? Remember, you have to do whole episode.
Yeah, for the whole episode. how many episodes? 22. 22. Out of 22, how would you rate this episode of Supergirl?
Oh, good lord.
20.
20.
Very high.
Yeah.
Out of 22?
Yeah.
Have you been around for this bit? This
No,
is
this
a Betty's bit. Yeah, he just picks a random number. And then, it's not random.
Oh,
It's,
excuse me. It's not random.
I'm going to give 22?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is a 17 out of on a letter score? What do you think a 17 is?
Like a B+.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Maybe my 20 was too high. I liked it a lot. Honestly, this is going to come as a surprise to you. We'll get into it more later. I think this is my favorite of the finales.
You're crazy.
See, that's what I said before we.
I'm just saying we'll get into it. We'll get into
prove
it.
him wrong.
I could. Well, oh, you haven't.
Excuse me. You were getting excited to talk about Arrow. We have one whole other show that none of us seem too excited about.
I would be fine zooming right past it.
Yeah.
Hey, he came back.
Zoom reference.
Hey, I'd give it a. I'll give it a 17 as well.
All right, cool.
A B+. That's.
Yeah.
I think it's fair because I at one point
Way
I
to
was
kite
like,
Jason's score, man.
totally. Hey, I made the scoring.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing about this is that I will say this finale proved the one thing is that Supergirl proved itself as a good show. The problem was the network last year. It wasn't the writers. And I'm actually really excited to see where the show goes next season.
I'm a big fan of Supergirl.
I really kind of you brought this up, but can we agree that Megan kissing John is a little weird just for the people who know the characters and not based on the show?
Yeah,
but just watching it.
Based on the show, I'm sure it's fine. But for me, it was like, it's strange.
I'm fine with it.
It's just a dad and an adoptive daughter just smooching. Oh, sorry, the nephew, niece. Who gives a shit? Anyways, it was a lot of stuff happening. We had a good time, but you know what's also a good time? Flash. Let's talk about that. There's a lot that happened in this episode. Savitar, Speed Force storms. And then heaven became hell. Or hell became heaven.
Yeah,
That's the
hell
other
became
way
heaven.
around.
Yeah.
So for no real reason.
Jason, I'm going to let you.
Yeah.
You're our guest. So,
Sure.
what did you think of the Flash?
Oh God.
Is it better or worse than the Zoom finale?
For the fans at home,
better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say this season is better than season 2.
I agree. I had a lot of problems with
Although,
season 2.
you know what? This is I stick to this. I feel like Flash is doing the same thing season wise, like
That Arrow did?
rating that Arrow. It's just they skipped season 1. So they went straight to an amazing what Arrow season 2 was like amazing.
I like
almost
Arrow season 1.
I like it too.
The second half of Arrow season 1 is pretty good.
It's amazing, and I think honestly, thinking back, it might be my favorite finale. Not my favorite season, but my favorite finale.
By the way, I watched the pilot right before I watched the season 5 finale of Arrow.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, the pilot of Arrow totally, except for the Laurel scenes, totally holds up.
Wait, why?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the Laurel scenes?
If you had to guess.
Yeah, come on, they're just bad.
I miss her.
Katie
She's
Cassidy.
around,
But yeah,
Black Siren. So I like season 1, but like season 2 is like for the longest time was the season of Arrow. Flash season 1 was like the same, and then they did season 2, which is like their Arrow season 3, which is probably their weakest, and like Arrow season 4 was better than 3, but still not great.
Yeah.
That's Flash season 3.
That's what I feel. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we got the Damien Dark season of Flash. We're like, there's some good stuff in here.
Except without Neil McDonough.
And the fun of Neil McDonough.
If Savitar had been Neil McDonough, not even Damien Dark, just Neil McDonough. You could have even said, "Hey, listen, I'm an evil Barry," and it's like, I don't care. It's Neil McDonough. I'm in.
My biggest problem, the weirdest thing about it is I saw the season finale, and there's so much stuff in this season finale that would really work and pay off so much better if this was the final season of The Flash. It makes more sense if it's the final season of The Flash that he's facing himself, and also that he goes to this heaven. But him going to this heaven to just come right back, because he's coming right back the first episode of the next season. Don't fool yourself. We thought Flashpoint was going to last for 22 episosions. Didn't happen.
Yeah, we actually
barely
have
the first.
we actually have a question from Adam Asink. At Adam Asink, how many episodes do you think Barry will be gone for season 4? I'd like 2 to 3 episodes, but realistically, it will be 5 minutes.
He will show up at the end of episode 1.
Yes, and maybe he doesn't come back yet, but Angel did something very similar when remember when what's that girl's name? She became a demon, then she became an angel, and then she came back and was evil.
I know what you're talking about.
She was gone for 10 seconds, and then she came right back.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's just scoot through the episode so we can just kind of want to get your idea, your thoughts on stuff.
Thinking back, we talked a little bit about this, and you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, I liked it. I mean,
sell me on it.
Yeah,
I would love it.
I can't because Arrow's better. I can't. Like, I don't. I think Supergirl lost me because there was a certain point when everyone's fighting. I'm like, dear Lord, I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm just and the Rhea fight was so like, okay, you're gonna just punch each other back and forth.
Counterpoint to you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it because you really dug it. So I'd love to. I want to feel your love, Sam.
All right, let's work through the episode
because I love
and
superheroes.
I could sell you on it.
There was a certain point in the finale where I thought the Savitar stuff just got overly complicated. So Bavatar, as I like to call him,
at some point,
but so Bavatar like gets all these weird memories. And he's like, okay, I'm going to take the speed bazooka. Okay, no, I'm going to go to Star Labs. Nope, I'm going to blow up Star Labs. Okay, I'm going to use the speed bazooka to multiply myself through all of reality so that I can rule all of reality because that's the only way I can beat a paradox. What?
Yeah, and by the way,
it seems more logical than the 30,000 bombs they somehow hit on that island.
Now, if you talk to Dr. Manhattan, being at every moment of time at once is not so great. It's not a win.
He doesn't know. He just wants to be a god.
He just wants to be a god. For me,
spoilers for Doomsday Clock.
The stuff that I liked the stuff with Caitlin. I liked the resolution of that stuff with Caitlin.
Agreed.
I liked the Barry's idea that, listen, I'm actually going to try to be the good guy here and not murder him and try and make friends with him. I liked that. Yeah. I thought that was cool. The thing that, like, thinking back on it when I was talking about it with you off air, I was like, I hated it. I hated it. And the only reason I hated it is the end, the fucking end of that show. Because it was one of those, like, so we faced the bad guy that was a result of the dumbest idea we had in season 2, Speed Force Remnant, Time Remnant. And then
that didn't make sense back then either.
Didn't make sense back then. Legends of Tomorrow almost salvaged it with the Eobard Thawne stuff.
I agree, and I thought, to be honest with you, Legends of Tomorrow, you know, because remember when we ended season 1 and Eddie shot himself and Eobard sort of dissipated, and I remember when we started season 2 and Eobard showed up again. A lot of people were like, wait a minute, how is that possible? I kind of thought Legends put that to bed too. Like, Legends kind of explained it, was like, this is how you can do all of that.
Yeah, because they'd already set up with all their gobbledygook rules. It's like, takes a little bit to set. And so they use that to, like, shoehorn them in. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, great.
But still, Time Remnant is still a dumb fucking idea.
Yes.
And so our main bad guy was that. And then the big resolution of the season was the big dumb idea from this, which is that we made a prison in the Speed Force that can throw tantrums for some reason.
It needs a space. It's a big black hole. Excuse me, the show makes zero sense if you start asking why. It doesn't. That's
the problem.
Here's the other thing too. Like, we get to the end of this finale, and they never explain how does Savitar get in that prison in the first place if he doesn't exist?
Because so if you want to do, like, because they drew a figure 8, he's like, he goes in the past, he becomes God, and he comes back and he fucks with you, and he goes and becomes God, and then he becomes a legend, and it's like, okay, and then so at some point he was born. It's kind of the Terminator problem where John Connor shouldn't exist. Period, because that's not how it works. But
those movies are good.
Well, but I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying the logic doesn't work. But no, Savitar shouldn't exist. Period, because he had to fight him, and then the time remnant would be made, and then he would be shunned, and he run back in time. And I have no idea. I don't know what point, because now at some point, wait.
I want to know how much bourbon is sitting on the table of the Flash writers' room in season 3 of them trying to be like, pour. This makes sense. Glug, glug, glug.
The way it would have worked is if they said this was the time remnant. We talked about this. This was the time remnant that he made to fight Zoom. And then it was like, and he gets, he basically, he's like, fuck, because he's like, I saved the universe and you guys didn't even think to look for me. Like, you were like, I was just thrown into the mix of all the planets out there, and I've been living there forever.
Yes, I agree with you. That when you do that, if you were to make it, the time remnant of season 2, you sort of redeem the stuff that doesn't make sense from season 2, and then when he disappears in the giant hamster wheel that beats Zoom, you just say that he popped up at like 5 BC and was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to control the place. You know, and then he works his way the long way around, as a Doctor Who term, to modern day, and then you're like, great. So we've been building this villain this entire season. That's awesome.
By the way, having Doctor Who on at the same time as Flash does Flash no favors.
No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
They try to borrow from
Doctor Who makes a lot more sense.
Which is weird because they don't give it.
No sense.
They don't give a shit about the rules either. But for some reason, it works better.
And Doctor Who ignores continuity left and right.
Yeah, it would have been so cool if the suit was at all explained, or the Philosopher's Stone. They never explain it. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Okay. What about this? What about this?
But it would have been really cool if he flew into the multiverse and these were objects he was collecting throughout different worlds.
That would have been also cool.
100%.
What about what about? There's so many other cool options. It could have been from Flashpoint. And what if Evil Barry, instead of being a speedster, was Dr. Alchemy? What if that was like, oh, it's definitely going to be Julian, and then right when we got the Dr. Alchemy reveal, and then it's Evil Barry, and he doesn't have the Speed Force anymore, but he created his own evil speedster. That could have been anybody. Could have been fucking anybody.
Also, the other thing is they could have just done it like the other problem with the Flash finale is that this is the third season in a row that we've made the villain be a giant reveal. Next season needs to not be a reveal.
Yes.
Again, Savitar could have just been Savitar.
Yeah, because he's a guy that wants to be. The idea
you never learn his identity in the comic books.
If you have access to the Speed Force, of course you'd want to be worshipped as a god if you're an egomaniac. That's fine. That's plenty.
He's just the guy. Evil. He's just the guy who studies the Speed Force and learns how to use it better than anybody else in the comic books. That's it.
Yeah.
But the other big thing we got that we're all forgetting because it was glossed over within the first 1 minute of the episode is HR dies.
Yeah, which we called. Everybody saw that immediately. Yeah. But how did you feel? Because I know you loved HR.
I thought HR was a good change of pace for this season. However, what's his love interest name?
Tracy Brand.
Keep her around.
Yes, I want her to be a full-time cast member.
Yes.
She's awesome.
Maybe
but
get rid of Julian.
She won't be.
I would say get rid of Julian. You need to shed some characters. I'd say get rid of Julian.
I think you need to shed some dudes. That Star Labs is a sausage fest right now.
Tracy, and I'm glad that they kept Caitlin as evil. Evil-ish. I'm glad that she still has the white hair and she still has the powers. I think she's more interesting.
It's mimicking DC Rebirth with Killer Frost right now because they were mimicking the
that,
show.
Something fun I want to pitch to you.
But
anyway.
It could be. I think it could be fun to have a relationship between Harry and Tracy because now it's like she doesn't know who this person is. Also, he's far less fun. he's really not fun.
The funny thing about it is this entire season, I liked HR just fine. Mm-hmm. I always knew right from the beginning. I was like, HR is not going to last. Yeah. They brought in HR because Cisco was a mopey sourpuss, and they needed a comedic relief. I think this season, Cisco, with HR being like, hey, you gave me the confidence to be this thing, and Barry being like, you're going to run Star Labs. I think next season we get back cheery, funny Cisco again.
Yes, please.
I like Harry Wells. He's my favorite Wells. I want him to be permanent with this cast.
Yeah,
I think we're getting
fuck Earth 2.
Yeah. Screw Earth 2.
Yeah.
Jesse's on Earth 3, so who cares?
No, the one thing...
and then Jay will finally be on Earth 2.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because they have the setup for something that I think could be really cool, that you give it at least 3 to 4 episodes where we could get those of us that grew up reading the comics in the 90s, Wally West Flash for a minute. And then have Jake Garrick as his mentor figure. Please.
I would really like him to get an updated costume, too.
And then you could bring
predicted he should have his Rebirth costume. The Wally West with the red and the silver. Mm-hmm. That's the costume I think Wally should get next season.
That would be great. Yep. And then have Jay be his mentor. And then that's a perfect opportunity to introduce Impulse.
Yep.
While he's Flash, and so then Flash comes back, and then we still have too many speedsters. What do we do with them? I don't know. Put Wally on Titans, but I would like to see, because I like classic Impulse Bart Allen, and I think it's a fun concept, and I liked his rapport with Wally, and I'd like to see Wally for even if it's just a minute, even if it's just a couple episodes. I'd like to see Wally as the Flash.
That does not fix your dude problem. That's a lot of.
I know.
We're doubling down on dudes.
I get that.
No, I'm not complaining. I want Impulse too.
I really want Patty to come back. I miss Patty Spivak.
Yeah,
I don't need we're not gonna have the love relationship anymore, but bring her back and let her be a part of this cast because she had such an amazing chemistry with everybody. I hate that they wrote her off.
Hold on to that thought.
But Iris and her need to get married.
Well, you can have Iris and Barry get married, but we.
Oh no, he was saying Iris and Patty need to get married.
Sorry, no, I just misspoke because I slurred my words and I meant to say him.
Just trying to fix the dude problem.
Yeah,
there's too many dudes in Star Labs.
This pertains to a question that we have coming up later.
He just pointed to his brow.
Mm-hmm. That's what. Think on it.
Think on it.
What would we rate this episode?
Well, okay, I'm trying to make
What's
sure.
our scale?
Don't worry. I got the scale right in my back pocket. Don't worry. Here it comes. Did everyone enjoy the lightning storm that was killing everyone on the streets, and everyone in Flash team was just like, guess everyone has to shake Barry's hand.
I'll tell you what. When it happened, I thought for a second that it was the speed storm from Flash Rebirth, written by my good pal Joshua Williamson, and I was seconds away from texting him, being like, he's a friend. I slept on his hotel room floor, so we got a bond.
I don't know where that was was going, I slept with him. We are friends.
He's got a baby and a lovely life and a nice house in Portland. I was like seconds away from like texting him and being like, dude, they used your idea. And then like it became about the prison. And I was like, oh,
you know what?
They didn't use your
Still
idea.
It doesn't
could be,
mean they
though.
didn't. Yeah, it
That's
could.
true.
Like maybe it's not black hole because they're still trying to figure out that whole thing.
Now
so.
everybody, the rumor is that Godspeed, which not another speedster.
No offense, Joshua Williams. I'm reading all Flash, and I liked Suicide Squad versus Justice League and the Button. It just
Justice League versus Suicide Squad was good.
It was fun,
Mm-hmm.
but Godspeed, the reveal, you saw it coming as soon as the character showed up. You're like, yep, it's him.
And also, dear God, I do not need another evil speedster ever on the show.
But this one's called
Ever.
Godspeed.
No,
though.
well,
Do you
I don't
think,
need it ever.
They've name dropped the Thinker 4 times this season, so the odds are that it's going to be the Thinker.
I wish they did what Arrow did and name dropped like the Thinker in episode 2 of season 1, and then he wasn't the villain until season 5. Like
You mean like Damien Dark?
No,
Yeah.
the Rothfa.
Oh yeah,
because everybody's like, Think will be the villain next season. It's like, what if it's not? What if it's like season 6? They're like, hey, hold on.
They also did that with Damien Dark too. Like,
because they set him over in 3.
Yes, Ra's al Ghul mentioned him very early in season 3.
And then they had that like, hey, you're gonna go take him out in season 3, and then it wasn't him, but that actor was still very interesting. The actor that was not Damien Dark, was
the
like
fake
his lackey.
Damien Dark was weird.
Yeah, but why did they do that fake out? They were like,
Don't
we're
know.
still gonna cast somebody else.
and that's very funny point when they originally showed Slade in season 1 of Arrow. Like in my head, I was like, oh, he's not gonna fight Slade until season 5. I thought they were going to play a really long game with Slade, but then they were like, nope.
Which is what a lot of shows do, and I think they took this note from Homeland because they've cast a lot of Homeland people, and Homeland also burns through plot like a motherfucker, and so that's what made Arrow so compelling those first 2 seasons, because stuff that you thought
moved.
like, it's like this is going to pay off. Oh, next episode. Oh, what's happening?
Yeah. And to be honest with you, at the same time, I think that was a big problem with Flash this season. Like let's say this, guys. Let me pitch an alternate season 3 to you, and I'd love to hear your ideas.
I'm excited.
Okay, we're in the Flashpoint timeline the entire season. Now, the Flashpoint timeline doesn't make as many changes as we saw. So the Star Labs crew is basically the same, except like there's just a couple different changes. Him and Iris have never dated. Definitely keep that. But that way, it's just like different things. Like he never grew up with Joe. He never grew up with Iris. And that's like the only major change that he changed. Otherwise, everything else happens. That way, the Arrow show is not affected. Legends is not affected. They can exist in the same universe. And then it's just this little tiny thing. Because it's very similar. Have either of you guys watched Fringe?
Yeah.
So Fringe season 4.
I haven't. I said yeah.
Fringe season 4 was an alternate timeline where they changed the timeline at the end of season 3, and all of season 4 was a completely different timeline.
Man,
but it was
that
just
a mess, though.
I don't know. Like I thought season 4 was the best, but they did run into a little bit of problems there. But I don't know. Like because going to Flashpoint and getting out of it in 1 episode was so unsatisfying.
I kind of liked what they set up and then kind of abandoned the idea that we did a big change, Flashpoint, change 1 episode, but then when he came back, it was kind of like what you pitched were little things and different. In your version, it just was a little bit more change.
Yeah.
So maybe like the big change, and maybe even like 1 have it be 2 episodes, 1 maybe make the changes a little bit more epic, and then when he comes back, it's stuff like things are still different.
Yeah.
You know, for me, just the big thing would have been don't have the big reveal speedster villain. You've done it twice now. 1 time was really great. 2nd time was real garbage. This was fine. You don't ever do it again.
You know what would be a fun reveal if they did one next year is if you knew it was the Thinker. Like they talked about his name and like everything and like that's who it is.
And it was
then
Time Remnant Barry.
There you go. Or they get like a really big name, like a big like TV name, and they just kind of wait to show you who it is. I'd be okay with that if you knew they were pulling the string.
Oh, you mean like a thing because the Thinker's name is something DeVoe.
Yeah.
And so like we meet a character next season called DeVoe. We know he's going to be the season 4 villain, but the cast doesn't. Oh, interesting. Okay,
or even like I like that type of thing. Like, hey, we're gonna wait to reveal who the villain, who actually is playing the Thinker. Like, who is it? Which cast member have we met? No, it's not. The reveal is that we actually got like a movie star to play. It's not somebody you've met. It's just a big name that you're like, oh shit. You know
Michael Keaton joining every universe.
It would have been like if they'd never announced Dolph Lundgren was in the show and he was Prometheus. Like we haven't met him yet, but it's
nice.
Dolph Lundgren. You're like, what?
You were like, I don't care. That's great.
I think we're excited to talk about Arrow. I think Flash wasn't the worst. I think it was a fine finale. Also, I said "aw" when he ran and delivered all of the wedding invitations,
Which was pointless.
It was
At night.
pointless. But excuse me, he didn't know he was about to go to heaven.
Oh, by the way, I think that was also a turning point. One, I feel like that you brought it up briefly, that end scene. I feel like they should have had 15 more goodbyes while they cut to lightning murdering people and earthquakes and destruction, and everybody's like, "Oh, hug," and then
also it doesn't make any sense that the Speed Force suddenly, like the Speed Force who didn't like Barry this season for doing Flashpoint, is all like, "Hey, no, this we changed. It's going to be heaven now for no reason."
Listen, Jay did nothing wrong, but it was awful for him. Wally did nothing wrong, awful for him. But for you, Barry, it's going to be great.
To be fair, we don't know what Jay's been up to. He could have something on his heart, and maybe Wally is going to do something bad, so preemptively.
You know how many Nazis he killed in World War II?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So many.
See?
Listen, nobody punishes you for killing Nazis. Anyway.
Okay, let's go ahead and rate it.
Out of 22?
Yes, let's do it. Out of 22?
Yeah, because you pick one for the episode, and you pick 22.
Well, this is a different episode.
No, for our episode.
Oh,
yeah.
Fine.
Is it always 22?
20? No, it changes.
He picks it for our episode, and then it's the same rating for each show.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, 22. How would you rate it? You gave 17 for Supergirl. You gave 20 to Supergirl.
Yeah.
Jason, go ahead.
I'm going to give this an 11.
What letter grade would that be in your head?
Lucky to make a C.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with also lucky to make a C, but I'm gonna say 10.
Oh, just trying to be different.
Yeah.
I give it I think nope, I actually I'd give it like a 17.5. I liked it slightly more than Supergirl because there was a point at Supergirl I was overwhelmed. Did I think it was dumb at the last second when you get like
the Flash
when they switch?
I get it. It's totally fine.
I'm trying, guys. But we can all agree on the next show. It's an even 23 out of 22. Let's talk about Arrow. A lot of
that's kind of low. I'll give it straight
shit.
26.
Yeah. Oh, right. that's a fair score. Let's go ahead and hop into how amazing this was. Actually, sorry, DJ thinks that somehow Supergirl is better, and let's hear how you're wrong.
All I would say is this reminded me a lot of the season 2 finale, where the whole season was just amazing, like on point, really good, and it set up so many great things for the finale. And then you get to the finale, and based on like the expectations, it's fine. Like it doesn't quite like. I think this episode tried to do too many things. Like, we're going to have to deal with Oliver's relationship with Slade, but he's also going to have to defeat Prometheus. And we're also, for some reason, going to have Merlin and Thea deal with the same issues they've been dealing with for 3 seasons one more time. And then we're also bringing back Captain Boomerang. And then we're also, and it's like, hey, maybe cool it. Like, maybe give me my Slade, have Merlin and Talia's sister Nissa there to kick ass and just be like, hey, they're there and that's awesome, and blow up Merlin and then out and we're fine. You know what I mean? So it was I enjoyed it, but it did not quite live up to the setup.
Can I critique you just a little bit?
Yeah.
You have expectations. Never have expectations for these shows.
Because
CW will always surprise you of how bad it can get quick.
And also, if you have low expectations, how great it can become.
Exactly. Yeah. Just go in with.
I will say,
nothing.
and this is strange. I actually was weirdly way more invested in the flashback stuff than what was actually happening in the present.
The opposite.
Yeah,
so was Sam.
I was just like,
the opposite.
just run to the boat. Like, what's his name?
Kovar.
Yeah.
Kovar. Yeah.
Konstantin Kovar.
Yeah. Just die. I like the oh shit, he's got like 9 more scars. We're gonna give him and burn him and stab him, and then here you go, and then throw him on the boat.
It's funny. It's funny because, again, like I said, I watched the pilot because this, to me, it's weird. Like, this episode had to kind of be a series finale.
Yeah.
Because they pitched the show as a 5-year show. And I thank God it's getting a season 6 because it's a great show. But, you know, this kind of is putting the original idea of Arrow to bed. Yeah. And so I was really excited for this episode, and I wanted to watch the pilot. This episode also started out with the very first same line as the pilot.
Oh, wow.
The exact. So it's something I'm going to be able to say. He was like, it's something like, there's an island in the Eastern Sea. Its name is Lian Yu. It means purgatory.
Yeah.
That's the same opening line of the pilot. Now, I was disappointed by the flashbacks because, I don't know, I kind of thought the fighting Kovar on the island was too much. Mm-hmm. And I get it, but at this point in the season, they were like, look, we've got to give him some sort of stakes in the flashbacks, but, you know, whatever. And then I kind of actually got really disappointed when the beard and and his hair was fake, and it was all like, and he brought the boat to the island. I was like, no. my awesome wife Ashley came up with this perfect idea when Anatoly brought him to the island a couple episodes ago. She said that she thinks that what they should have done is they should have done this thing where the Kovar thing that happened this episode happened like 3 episodes ago, and he fights Kovar. He kills Kovar, but Kovar makes him miss his original boat. And then we see the screen go 6 months later. And you find out that he spent the last 6 months being like, damn it.
Yeah.
I think that makes him coming back to the city.
Talking to Kovar's severed head.
Yeah,
like
whatever.
Wilson.
Yeah. But I think that I was a little bit disappointed. I was excited to see the footage from the pilot again. They used the same footage. And then the only good thing about the flashbacks in this episode for me was the phone call with Moira.
That wrecked me.
Oh my God. I miss Moira so much. Yeah. That's the other thing about like this episode for me is like bringing back those old people. I'm like, man, I miss Slade. Yeah. Man, I miss Moira. Man, I miss this character. And man, yeah, I almost cried in that scene because I was like, we would all cry calling our mom like that.
The Stephen Amell and the actress that plays Maura Queen just obliterated that scene.
Yeah.
You just watched the first season, and I think you were the one who brought it up that like Stephen Amell's kind of like learning how to act. Like he can act, but
Ashley
Ashley did, and like he got better.
He turns a switch. I think it's like episode 10 or 11 in the season 1. Like he flips a switch, and it's interesting to see. That was like watching the pilot, and I would recommend actually anybody out there go watch the pilot of Arrow like now or sometime this weekend. You will be surprised at the symbolism of this episode that is exactly from the pilot. Like think about I'm gonna jump a little bit to the end. Prometheus kills himself in the same time of the episode, about the same time that his dad shoots himself.
Wow.
It's also the same gun.
Nice.
It's the exact same gun.
And as he points out, it's the same spot.
Yes.
He points out the same spot. For me, it was just like, and honestly, even though I enjoyed the flashbacks, I actually thought the fight with Drago was better than a lot of the fighting in the present.
I agree.
Even though like the stakes, like we know he's.
I agree. The fights in the present, because you had to service so many characters, kind of move fast. Although they did do a really cool camera move where they did like a 360 shot and they showed you like
that was very
everybody
cool.
fighting.
And the stuntman in the Deathstroke, good choice on that stuntman because he made Deathstroke look like a badass motherfucker.
Oh, with this, there was like one like sword move he did where he took out like 7 like ninjas or whatever, like they were there. So cool.
I would have put the flashbacks to bed the last episode before this one, and then so you could have just focused
just
on
the Moira phone call for this episode, maybe
that. Yeah. But have everything else focused because there's so much that needs to happen.
And I totally
here.
agree. This episode trucks and it really moves. But again, like man. Every one of Oliver's scenes with Manu Bennett, Slade Wilson were so good. And guys, I think we got an amazing setup for what Arrow season 6 is going to be in this. Him giving, because I've been saying it ever since season 1, where Slade name drops this Teen Titan character. I've been so waiting for this to come back.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah, I was wondering.
It's Jericho, right?
It's Jericho.
Yeah, because he brought up the son this time. I was like, wait, what the hell when did he have his kid?
So if you go back and watch season 1, very briefly in season 1, he mentions he says some line where he's like, "You remind me of my kid Joe." He's like, "You remind me of my kid Joey." And then in season 2. He talks about Joey a couple more times.
Okay.
So we've never seen him. He keeps talking about him. And
Slade gets blowed up real good, and so Green Arrow spends the next season trying to find and train Joey.
Don't blow him up because I like
He's
him.
on another show.
I know, but also
Slade's not dead.
And I did have to when he came back.
I hope not. And this gives me hope that we'll
blown up.
I have hopes that at least he'll get a cool where you hold him and he's dying and he says parting words of one more with Manu Bennett at the season 6 premiere.
Oh, so you get the line and he's like, check out Shannara Chronicles on MTV, and then he like flips away.
By the way, I have to give mad props to the producers because I thought the way they figured out, because you could tell like for this episode they were like, we have Manu Bennett for 2 days and that's all we got him. And I thought the like putting the mask on and just have him do VO, I thought was like, you know what? I'm fine with that compromise. Yeah, I'm totally fine with it.
I was
Make it work.
fine for the most part. I was surprised at how much we saw him because of all that Twitter stuff where he's like, "Oh, I'm not in it." It's like
he's the biggest Twitter troll.
Yeah,
when he was like, "I am not on this show."
Yeah, and so the fact that we got him without the mask at all was great because he was more zen. It's like it didn't quite project past the mat. Like I never quite got the feeling that like that's Deathstroke right there. It's like it's only the scenes without the mask. And like you said, every time he was without the mask, I'm like, this is great. I love
Also,
so much.
best eye patch on any show. I really like that. I just really like that eye patch. It's really classy. But great use of bringing back Captain Boomerang, because they're like, oh yeah, we put him on that island. I guess we'll take him out. Like maybe we can use him, and then do a little twist and like, well, he is in Suicide Squad, so better blow him up.
Are you guys okay with the Malcolm Merlin death? Because I will say Thea has been very underserviced this season. Like she's barely. I actually thought they were going to kill Thea in this episode because she hasn't done anything forever.
Yeah.
And I always liked her better as Speedy.
Yeah.
And I never understood the decision to not make her Speedy. So I was kind of like,
she's busy and wants to work on other things.
I know. What else is she in?
I think she was in a movie with fucking Harry Potter.
Oh God.
Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah.
Good. Get rid of her. I kind of want her to be off the show.
I'm hoping instead of killing her, I'd rather have her be like, hey, she found Roy and they're happy together.
Sure.
Bye.
I'm down with that.
He's over fixing cars.
There was a moment when they did the whole like her foot's on the mine. I'm like, haven't we done this exact scenario at some other point in the show?
It was in season 2.
Yeah. Yep. And then
whose foot was on the mine?
I think it was Felicity.
Oh, nice.
Because that was where wasn't that? Am I remember this wrong? It's episode 1 of season 2 where he swings on the vine and catches her off the mine. He grabs her.
That, but I'm also thinking of when they go back to the island and face Deathstroke in season 3 for that one episode.
Oh yeah.
It reminded me of that. But anyway, I was like, this is kind of lame. And then he pushes her off, and then the bad guys are coming. I'm like, this could be a badass moment where Merlin's murdering the fuck out of people while his foot is on the mine, like he's just arrowing.
We don't
them.
have the budget for that.
And then Captain Boomerang comes at him and like throws a boomerang, and then you cut and then you see the explosion. I'm like, that'd be amazing. And then they didn't do it, and I was like, well, then maybe you should have not done this.
Hey,
so
Tom, what's his name? John Barrowman.
John Barrowman.
He's been on Flash, Legends, and Arrow a lot this season. I think he deserves like a little fake death. Another fake death. He's gotten a couple.
Yeah.
Let him die for a little bit, and he'll come back. I think he said he's not coming back for next season of Arrowverse stuff. He'll come back at some point, but like, give him a break. He worked real hard.
There's also let's talk about a little bit of I understand going for the Williams son because they wanted to hit that father-son relationship, especially since Oliver with his father. I hate that kid. I kind of wish we'd never seen him again, but I get it. I thought Prometheus had one of the best lines of Arrow's this entire season where he was like, for an absentee father, you really care about this kid.
That actor that plays Adrian Chase, I'm really on board with him.
He's really good.
I'm bummed that he blew his brains out.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have a tweet, though.
Yeah,
from Festive.
Trains to that.
Yeah, Festive, Chris Fellows, at that Chris Fellows. How do you think William felt finding out that his dad is the Green Arrow? How would you feel if you found out your dad is a superhero? Because you definitely see him playing with the Green Arrow doll.
That question blew my mind because it never even occurred to me that, oh shit, that was how he found out that his dad's Green Arrow. Like I didn't even cross my mind during the episode.
No, the two moments where Stephen Amell acted the shit out of this finale is the phone call with Moira, and then when he reacts to seeing his son come out of there and like with Adrian Chase's like hand on his head, you're like, and as soon as Adrian threatened that he did kill his kid, I was like, yeah, he definitely killed his kid. Like,
I thought so too.
Yeah.
When he said that line, I thought the way that actor did an amazing job with that line. The way he said it, I agree with you. I was like, he actually did it. He actually killed this kid.
Yeah.
Would you think this season was great? I think this is easily the best season since 2, maybe as good as 2.
I think it's a tie for 2. I really do.
I feel like there's a good argument for that. Would it have taken it up a notch if they became a little bit more merciless? Like if he had killed William, and then for me, I think it would have been more. Remember that big episode where by the way, I like that callback. Like, how dare you bring my son into this? You brought my wife into this, you son of a bitch. Like,
by the way, in that very scene where he's in the helicopter, the episode before last, when he's taking off in the helicopter, I had somebody tweet this to me. That's the only reason I found out about it. When Prometheus is taking off in the helicopter, he yells out the window, "See you on the boat, Oliver."
Nice.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. So if I thought that would have been more impactful if instead of his wife it had been his mom. Because Adrian's mom?
Okay.
Because it's like you saw that didn't have
kind
any
of
clue
echoing back to Deathstroke killing Moira.
Deathstroke killing Moira, and also the fact that you got a sense that they really cared about each other, where I never really got that with the wife.
Sure.
So like,
because she showed up like
I don't know.
before she died.
Yeah,
exactly.
He
didn't ever care that she was dead.
No. Yeah, those are my only 2 examples. And then I remember the whole episode where he tortures the fuck out of Oliver, and it's like, no, this season was pretty merciless. This got pretty tough at points.
There's a couple episodes in this season that I would probably say are in my top 5 of best episodes of Arrow of all time.
No, 100%. And I missed that Ragman wasn't there. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we completely forgot about Ragman.
No, and he's the one that saves them from all the bombs.
Oh my!
He's whipping up.
Oh my God!
He's ragging up every bomb. And okay,
DJ, you just. God damn it! Because you said it, that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
damn it.
Oliver's gonna come back all terrified. He's like, "What?" And then Ragman's gonna be there with a bunch of other rags.
We already know it can survive a nuclear explosion.
Yeah,
it did kind of die, but maybe the magic came back because people believed in the rags again.
Everybody applaud for the rags, and they'll come back to life.
I was actually expecting us to find I was expecting to have an episode where the whole episode was they were gonna find Ragman's dead body and Prometheus killed him.
Ooh,
that'd be tough. I thought you were gonna say that they were gonna find the rags on the island and do an origin there, and I thought that would have been cool. But even though it doesn't make sense with what they set up,
Ragman's on that damn island now. That's how they survive.
But also it was a little silly of how many bombs there were. That was a little silly.
It just means how well prepared he is.
Who put them there? There was at least
he has all of Talia's League of Assassins.
Yeah,
but I agree. It's too many bombs.
It was too many bombs.
Which is at least the same 10 stunt doubles that were in Roz's League of Assassins. I brought up the fact that hey, I think we've had at least 2 nuclear bombs stolen this season.
Yeah,
he could have gotten a nuclear bomb.
But what we talked about was that if it was a nuke, there's no boat that's going to outrun that fast enough.
That's the reason why they didn't do the nuke. Yeah, because they can't watch the explosion and still survive.
I like the idea that we're literally going to blow up the island. Like, we're so done with Lian Yu, we're literally going to blow it the fuck up.
I didn't think that was going to happen, but I had somebody on Twitter said the same thing to me. They were like, "Oh, they're going to blow up the island, a la Jurassic Park in the first novel." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's probably what they're going to do." Because you're right. They're like, "We're putting this to bed." But it does. I will say that when they blew up the island and then it went to the Arrow title screen, I literally was like, "Oh, screw you," because I hate that last second cliffhanger. I'm more of a fan
because of Smallville.
Yes, and Angel and Buffy. I'm more of a fan of you give us the massive oh my God, how are they going to fix this? And then you give us one scene after that so that we can kind of relax a little bit into the next season, because I always feel like it's a best of both worlds problem. And what I mean by that is, if you know, the greatest television cliffhanger of all time, in my opinion, is the end of Star Trek Next Generation Season 3, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1. Commander Riker sees that Captain Picard has been completely transformed into the leader of the Borg army. He's this spoilers for 20 years, 25 years
Everybody's
ago.
Seen that image.
I'm offended.
And of course, they built this super weapon that can destroy the Borg ship. They see their captain. Nobody else on the ship wants to kill the captain, and the camera does this amazing 360 shot around Commander Riker, and he goes, "Mr. Worf, fire," and it goes, "To be continued." And I don't know. I just feel like you need.
Man, I've not seen that episode. I'm a big Next Gen fan, but I haven't seen that episode, and you so sold me on it.
So good. The best television cliffhanger of all time is that cliffhanger. But I don't know. I kind of feel like you need a little bit. You need a little bit of a relaxer, because every time it'll never live up. Whatever the solution is, because Best of Both Worlds didn't live up because it was immediate. Yeah. Anything that does that in the last scene, it never lives up to the
Flash season 1 to 2. That was, for me, that was one of my favorite cliffhangers of him running into the black hole, and you're like, well, this is gonna be really cool when they come back.
Well, even then,
skip 6 months ahead, and then you see it later.
The other thing that made that one work is that it could have been the end of the show, because it's the idea of he's ending as the Flash. It almost does not matter what happens after that,
going into the battle.
Because it's just that this is just that was the moment, and
they probably built it that way in case they didn't come back.
And more than any that moment, I know we had a whole 22 episodes of him racing around before that. That was when he became the Flash. He was the Flash. I'm like, oh shit, I'm watching the Flash. You know what I mean? And so this is, I feel like this was more of a, hey, I know this felt like a series finale. We're coming back.
Yeah.
don't worry.
The explosions were all a big FU. F you all together.
Hey, we're not done yet.
I'll be honest with you. The best thing that all of these finales did this year is, for all of them, I'm kind of like, I don't know what you're doing next season.
True.
For all 4 shows, I'm kind of like, I don't know what you're doing next season. I have no idea.
You have some opportunities, but I'm trying to think, just right now as we were talking, I'm like, who would be dead? I'm like, the guard that was down in that bunker is definitely dead.
Employee,
Slade is definitely dead.
I think Slade's alive.
What are they going to do? Or
he'll be dead, kind of. But what about Artemis or Black Siren, or there's a couple other people that are just
Black Siren's definitely around because she was announced.
See, my theory is that they kept, if you notice at the very end, they kept cutting to Slade, just kind of looking at people talking. I have a feeling that Slade knows about some big ass nuclear bomb shelter that's underground, like some
or maybe
thing, and led them into it.
Maybe even his prison cell.
Maybe his that's why I think whoever survived. I think that's how. I think it's Slade was the one that led them down.
I love that man. Fuck! I just every time I think of his face, and he's so perfect, and I'm glad he was back.
Manu Bennett.
Manu Bennett. He's just like, especially because just the way they grade him.
They made him a little bit older, yeah.
And his beard, and it's like, fuck, man. Like, I know he has kind of an embattled history with the show. I fucking love him on it. Like, I would, it'd be too much. It's tough because you can't have him be a regular because it'd be too much. It was too much. It'd be too much
because we can't beat that season that we had.
And he needs to have work. But it's like I'd love to at least see him like do the same thing you do with Hecklin's Superman, where it's like the beginning of the season and the end of the season we get some Deathstroke.
Yeah, you just have him run off and do his things and stuff like that. Yeah, I totally agree.
And I think that's something Arrow does really well is those conflicted, because of how dark this version of Oliver is, that like, wait, you're teaming up
because it's this universe's Batman.
Yeah, like but he's even more conflicted than most versions of Batman because he's killed a lot of people.
But he kind of put that to bed a little bit in this, because he said that line to Prometheus where he was like, that is who you think I am, but that's not who I, or like the hood is not who I am. Like he put that to bed a little bit. So because for 5 seasons we keep dealing with this thing where Oliver's like, I don't know, sometimes I'm get pretty dark to go fight crime. I don't know if I should do this anymore. Like they have that episode every season of Arrow.
Because he was killing a lot of people in the beginning of the season too, or at least pushing them off of buildings and walking away.
And I'm still not quite sure whether all the guns that Wild Dog was using, like there was a lot of theoretical, like I guess they could have been like stunner bullets, but
it's a lot of rubber bullets, and rubber bullets can still kill you.
Like Diggle, it's like I know you have that weird like tie-up bullet you have, but like you have to be using real bullets.
It's one thing. That's one of the things I really appreciate about Shield is they set up the icers in season 1 and they set up a distinct sound for them. So because I realized 4 seasons later they haven't even mentioned the word icer, but when that sound goes, like, oh, that guy's not dead. They just stunned him. It's just a nice like you have that cue.
We need that for Arrow.
Because it's one of those like we have this whole big debate of like. Well, it's killing and not killing. It's like, but they did that's
the
a lot of gunfire.
When Laurel first became Black Canary, they used to not have the special effect, the waves in front. It used to just be a shot of her opening her mouth and the sound. And it looked so dumb. And then in season 4, they gave her the special effect, and you're like, thank God.
Wait, no, they never gave. They didn't give Laurel with the necklace thing. They did it for Black Siren, and then they're like, and now Dinah, the new Dinah, is gonna get it because she's on Meta, and also she's awesome. And like them screaming at each other was great, and you get a great moment with Quentin where he knocks out his own daughter.
Yeah. So what do we rate this episode?
Out of 22, I'll give it. I said it earlier. I'll give it a 23.
Yeah, 26.
26. I'm gonna give it a 21.
I wish you gave it like a 5.
No, of all these shows, Arrow is my show. Like with Supergirl being a close second because I love Superman so much.
It's funny. Arrow took the crown back.
Yeah,
Arrow like grabbed the crown back from Flash and like pushed Flash down.
If I had to if I rated, let's rate all 4 shows, the CW shows. If we just like 1 to 4,
Legends season 2, Supergirl season 2, Flash season 3, and Arrow 5.
I think for me it's gonna go Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, Flash.
I'm the same actually. Yeah. I'm actually exactly the same.
Yeah, Supergirl, Flash. It's like for me it's a lot closer.
For me it's not close.
I know.
But
Flash is dirt to you.
What did you say? Arrow?
It was Arrow, Legends, Supergirl, Flash.
I agree with that scale.
Yeah.
Bam, there we go.
Because Legends was Arrow was on fire, but Legends was really solid.
And
this
the finale was so much fun.
The Legends finale knocked it out of the park.
Remember Adam got his heart ripped out by Reverse Flash, and then 70 million Reverse Flashes showed up.
I like
to
call it the Crisis
sense.
of Infinite Eobards.
That was so cool. And it would have been cool if one of them was Harry, but we can't get everything. We can't get everything. And you got Black Flash 2 on Flash. I don't know how to make you happy.
I do like Black Flash.
How do you stop death? With a little bit of ice.
Oh, yeah, I like that. The only thing he's weak to is ice.
What?
Why? What the?
What just happened? Why didn't Eobard make a big ice block then?
Yeah, you know who one of Eobard's allies was?
Eobard.
Captain Cold.
Yeah.
What?
Somebody should have formed Eobard. Now that we've rated the show, this was a question that was for all the shows, and I'm interested to hear what your guys' thoughts on this are. Nathan Moser at Marcus Starshine asks, if you could pick one main cast member from each show to not come back next season, Whom would you choose and why? From each show.
Wow. So are we going to throw Legends in there, or should we just keep it to 3? Okay, Legends.
You want to do it? You want to do it show by show?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go from like going through the week. Supergirl. Let's start.
Well, let's start with Legends because they ended
earlier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's the person you guys knock out of Legends then? I got to think about this.
They really used a lot of the Legends really well, and I grew to like Steel or Citizen Steel or whatever.
Yeah. I about half liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And
Vixen. You know what? Like, I would either say keep Rip off, even though I think Rip should be keep showing up, but like sporadically.
Is he your Superman of that show?
I mean, like, I'm not as excited when I see him as I am with them.
I miss Rip on that show.
I loved Ditzy Rip in the 70s, Director Rip, and Evil Rip. Evil Rip was
a badass.
Was amazing. And they did a lot of rehabilitating Rip for me to the point where I keep wanting to see him. I think it would have been easily Rip prior to that.
Yeah.
But the other one that they can't quite crack is Ray.
Ray's rough.
And then if you got rid of Ray, you could bring in Ryan Choi, and they could use They could use.
You could do the Savage Sword of Adam comic book storyline.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
That's
how you write them off, and then you revisit every once in a while. That'd be fucking amazing.
So the whole season is we got to find Ray Palmer.
Yeah. Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you bring in Ryan Choi because the CW shows they try hard with diversity. They could use an Asian American character.
You know what would be really cool? Remember when Ray and Hot Girl for that one weird episode they were like teachers or whatever in the 50s?
Yeah.
So what
they
if
spent like a year there? Right?
Yeah, like and they like lived together, whatever. What if one of his students like found some of his like blueprints for the Atom suit back in the 50s? Were like slowly just like trying to build a prototype, and like that's how they get
he's
the
like
attention.
Steampunk retro Ray.
That's so cool.
I'm in for the season, guys.
That would be really cool.
Great.
We pitched a really great season. What about you guys? Who would you write off?
I think you nailed it because I was like trying to go through like Firestorm, and I'm like, no, I like what they did with Jax a lot this season because they finally like you do stuff now, and obviously Sarah's really good. Mick is amazing, and Vixen and Steel I think have more to do. They can give them some time to like. Do
I thought
more
Vixen
stuff.
was a great addition to the season.
Agreed.
And she and Mick had like a lot of really cool scenes.
I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to knock off Martin because I love Victor Garber, but there were a lot of little conversations this season that I actually thought they were going to kill Martin Stein because they kept having all these conversations about like take care of your partner and do stuff like that. And when they set up Martin Stein's daughter, I thought they were going to do a thing where Martin was dying, and then because she's like of the same genetic stock, she takes his half of the Firestorm Matrix.
That'd be interesting.
And then because I thought they were going to go towards this comic book storyline post Infinite Crisis when they had the Jason Rush Firestorm, which is basically who Jax is. I kind of don't know why they didn't just call him Jason Rush.
They introduced Jason Rush as just a rando dude.
Just a random guy, and they got rid of him. In that storyline, his half of the one of the storylines was his half of the Firestorm Matrix was his girlfriend, and I kind of think it would be an interesting thing that like, how would it be dating the person that's inside your head?
You could have a lot of really fun stuff, and also they're not great with love interests. They keep doing it with Ray because they don't know what to do with them. So like, give it to Jack.
But but it would be like, I'd go Martin just for story reasons. But yeah, to me, it's between Nate or Ray
because they're
the same.
Alike.
Because they look alike and they don't really bring much to the storyline either way.
I thought it'd been really cool in season 1 where they introduced the evil Russian scientist that wants to be Firestorm. It's like that would have been really interesting if they replaced Victor Garber with her, and so you have somebody that's legit
enemy.
Evil. That's like that he has to become Firestorm with. It's like I'm on, and so she's saying kill him and his head and shit. And
a little bit of a Blue Beetle kind of thing there.
Yeah. I could go with Adam. I think if I had to pick one, I'd say Adam.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think we all want to see Savage Sword of Adam. So like, get rid of Ray Palmer.
So cool.
Yeah.
And the show is crazy enough to do it.
It would do it. I have no doubt we're seeing Commandy next season. No doubt.
It's gonna be so weird. It's gonna be so weird.
The Commandy Challenge with DC. It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Really quick for people who don't know, and also I need a refresher. Who's Commandy?
So Commandy is a Jack Kirby character when he came over to DC.
So he's crazy.
Yeah. And so it's a crazy character, and it's basically like an Earth. They don't really give you an exact time frame, but it's an Earth hundreds of years in the future, or it could be 100 years in the future. It's depending on the writer. This thing called the Great Disaster happens. Basically, the entire world crumbles, and because of the nuclear radiation, animals start acting like humans, kind of like Planet of the Apes, and some of the characters in this universe find a small boy in a military bunker, and they can't say his real name, so they call this teenager boy after the sign that is like covered with rubble of the bunker, and the bunker was Command Bunker, but it's covered up so they see it Commandy, and that's where he gets his name.
That's cool.
And it's him trying to survive in this weird world of animals.
Now, was he always a part of the fourth world, or was that kind of done later?
He's very separate of the fourth world.
Yeah.
He finds objects from the fourth world, but like he's sort of part of the fourth world, yet not.
Yeah, and
he's in Multiversity.
I believe, didn't Commandy come out post Planet of the Apes? Because it's a very similar, except instead of just...
I believe so, yes.
Because Jack Kirby is a very smart person. He's like, fuck just having apes. I'm going to have humanoid tigers and dogs and jaguars and everything.
The fun ones. You don't need just one type of animal talking.
Yeah. And by the way, we're evolved apes, so it's not as exciting.
What do you guys think about... Okay, so Supergirl?
Let's go Supergirl.
Supergirl.
All right, who's the person you knock out of... I got this answer easy.
James.
Jimmy Olsen's gone.
That was so easy.
Yeah, I did a video on my channel a couple weeks ago talking about Titans, and since they probably won't do Cyborg, I think it should be in. I pitched that it should be a part of Supergirl's Earth, because we already have an Earth where that's
what Black Lightning's gonna be a part of.
I hope so.
No insider details on that. That's my prediction.
Because they said it's not connected to any of them.
I think he's on Supergirl's Earth.
But it should be Supergirl's Earth because it's the one Earth where you've had a superhero around for decades.
Yep.
And so I would love the idea of a black elder statesman superhero part of that universe. But it's also a universe that celebrates up and coming heroes. So I think Titans should be a part of it. And since Titans probably won't be able to do Cyborg, I'm like, just move James over there and have him be the tech-based partner to Richard Grayson, because clearly we don't know what the fuck to do with him on the show.
I think
they tried real hard in that like third to last episode with the children of whatever.
They're like, oh, right, he's on the show. Wait a second.
But see, making him Guardian like creates two problems for me. One, it says that you don't know what to do with him, and then two, it says it creates this problem where everybody in these shows doesn't need to be a superhero. I actually think the more interesting storyline they could have done with James this season is when he took over as Catco.
Yeah.
It should have been this kid who has grown up through the Daily Planet, seen Clark Kent, seen Lois Lane, idolizes Perry White, and he should have been like, this is my opportunity to make Perry White proud. I'm going to turn this into the new Daily Planet.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of the Flash and all this stuff like that. And then I think you could have done a thing like I'm jonesing for them to cast the Perry White and have him visit Supergirl, because I want to see who is the Perry White in that universe. And also, I'm really hoping next season we see Lois. I really want to see Lois.
We talked about her way more than I feel like season.
I also feel we're going to see Lex next season too.
I desperately want that.
But that's why I would knock off James.
Yeah, I think because they've done such great things with Alex, and of course, don't get rid of Hank because I love him.
Yeah, you're right. See, if you would have asked me this question in season 1, I would have been like Alex.
Yeah,
but they redeemed Alex this season.
They've made her so interesting. Yeah, James.
Maybe she'll get married now. We didn't talk about that. She'll get married.
Yeah, that seemed like
her sudden
decision making behind that seemed a little suspect. Maybe cool it a little bit. Maybe
they're gonna have cute babies. You don't know.
You don't know.
That good? Yeah.
Space babies.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'd be fine if Mono didn't come back.
Well, he's already kind of gone. Like,
yeah. Oh, so he doesn't count in our thing.
No, he's gonna be James. From now on. He's not. I really don't see him ever being a mainstay.
I do like your idea of him. James focusing on James running Catco, and then having Perry kind of being the visiting dad.
Yeah,
and I think that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't.
Who would you cast as Perry White? We talk about Lex all the time. Who would you cast as Lex? Who would you cast as Perry White?
I want to hear your choice for Lex. Now in a dream world, this is who I would cast as Perry White. They'll never get him. I actually would cast Perry White the same way that Smallville did. Michael McKean.
He was a really
good. That's what
good.
I was just thinking.
He's a really good Perry White.
But you probably can't get him. You probably cannot get him for that role.
I was just about to look him up because I couldn't remember the name.
Michael McKean. Yeah.
But I went through it backwards, and it had to have been Smallville that planted the seed, because I went to Chuck from Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
He'd be fucking great. And clearly they had the same idea.
Yeah.
Did you watch Better Call Saul? It's so fucking good this season.
It is so good. Yeah. It is so good.
So similar.
Michael McKean. So since we probably can't get Michael McKean. Oh man, I have to think about who's kind of an elder statesman character actor that's around.
Michael Ironside.
No, he's the voice of Darkseid permanently.
And he's also Leonard Stark's dad.
Oh, wait, well, I mean,
he's Lois's dad in Smallville. He's Lois.
He gets around.
He's General Lane.
He
gets around. He's
loves
over there.
DC.
He also fights the Highlanders.
I think it'd be more difficult to cast. I think it'd be more difficult to cast Lois.
Yes,
because of what we've done. Like, we've hired a very young actor to play Clark Kent, who's been around for a while.
He looks. That's my one problem. I think Tyler Hoechlin does a really good job, but. I think they're the same age. I think him and Melissa Benoist are the same age.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's 5 years younger than her, which is a little weird since he's supposed to be older than her.
Yeah, it's the one thing that like I'm not sure. I love Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. The one thing he doesn't quite nail is like the gravitas,
the presence.
Yeah, you know, it's a kind of a similar issue I have with Chris Evans' Cap. Like, there's a lot to like about it, but it's not. It took all the way to Civil War, where he would walk in a room and be like, "Oh, Captain America."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, like in Avengers, when he's like telling people what to do, I'm like,
well, that was the steroids. They take a few years to really kick in and really build that out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know. James.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. But
I don't know, man. That's tough.
But like with Lois, because it's like it's supposed to be. Lois might be supposed to be what Cat Grant's age.
I'm trying
with
to go
like
through
babyface Tyler Hoechlin.
I'm going through all old people in my head of like who are like I'm trying to go through like Lost or
trying to
Friends,
cast like other shows.
Yeah. The guy who plays Locke.
Terry O'Quinn.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Terry O'Quinn.
I like Terry O'Quinn. I just don't see him as. I mean, give him some range. Maybe he has range. I have no idea. And maybe he'll be. He
does have a lot of range. He's actually he's a great. He's a great character actor that's in so many things. You know what? Terry O'Quinn would be a good choice.
I was thinking John Noble because I'm like, I've seen you go crazy, but I don't think he can. I just don't know if he can like give you. He can be scary because of Lord of the Rings, I've seen him be scary and on Fringe.
And Fringe. Yeah.
But I just don't know if he can be the Perry White scary, where it's like this kind of like father figure.
That'd be cool though. Yeah.
But I'm actually. I'll go with Michael Ironside.
You know what?
Again.
I'm gonna go a little crazy. This is
go
my
crazy.
This
go
is
nuts.
my Perry White. I'm going to race bend it, just like Man of Steel. Andre Braugher, Perry White.
Oh fuck yes.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And that would also link up.
They would put Supergirl in the Boston Boston 99 universe.
Oh man, no.
That'd be so cool.
I'm all about that.
It makes sense.
Oh, I guess we all just agreed, James. I was going to ask you who you're cutting out, James.
Yeah.
Who are your choices for Lex, real quick? I know you probably have talked about it on these episodes before.
I can't not have Michael Rosenbaum. I'm sorry. I know I can't not. I love him.
I love him too. You know the episode where we had the flashback for Lena as Supergirl?
Yeah.
I really think they should have hired him for that and had him play Lionel.
Oh no! Wait, did you say that or? Somebody pitched that here recently that he should have played Lionel.
I have a bet. I bet it was Ashley because we talked about it a lot.
No, but also the guy who played Lionel in Smallville was the best part of it for 7 years.
Jason something is his real name. Yeah, I can't remember. But he's a great character actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I for Lex Luthor, Billy Zane.
Oh, it's a good choice.
Yeah, because I was watching.
I always think about Zoolander whenever somebody brings up Billy Zane.
Oh, really? Because the reason I have for that because my only real exposure to him was the Phantom movie.
Yeah.
But I watched Mad Dogs on Amazon, and he's in that first episode. And he's kind of playing a playboy that's very charismatic.
Yeah.
But like. You never quite feel comfortable around him, like he's threatening. You know what I mean? So that's a weird thing, and he's bald now, and he's bigger, and he has that deep voice, and it's like, fuck yes, this is Lex Luthor. Like, because I'm drawn to him while being terrified at the same time.
You know who I think would make a very interesting choice for Lex Luthor, and he's doing TV now because he just starred in like 2 seasons of a sci-fi show, but he might be a little bit old. Is Thomas Jane.
Interesting,
because
he's on The Expanse.
He's on The Expanse, so that says that he will do TV.
Yeah,
he could be a Lex.
He would make he'd be a very mean Lex, but he might be a hair too old. That's the problem
for Lena because they're supposed to be.
Same issue with Billy Zane. I just think Billy Zane just has that. I just would love to see.
Well, also Superman's supposed to be older, but he looks younger, and you can't tell how old their mom is. So there's some wiggle room there.
Totally.
And they're all over the place. But
Let's go to
Flash.
Who do you knock off?
Barry? I don't know. Just kidding.
Wow. I did not expect that from
I knew because you were
that show.
I beat you guys to it. No, I like Barry. I don't care what you guys say, even though he's all over the place. Let's get rid of
this season. Actually, did make me think. Sorry to interrupt. That Barry Allen's a pretty terrible human being to his friends.
In this show,
especially this last season, he's pretty terrible to his friends.
Yeah, hopefully they fix that.
You remember that episode where he got amnesia and he was so much fun and the show was so much fun and it reminded you why you fell in love in the show to begin with, and you're like, why?
You also remember that episode where his best friend turned into a supervillain, and instead of going after his best friend and helping his best friend, he was like, no, I'm going to travel to the future.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
That was the one where he travels to the future
Flash, where he went to the
instead of
helping Caitlin.
Yeah. That sounds about. Thanks, Barry.
Yeah, thanks, Barry.
You know who seems done with the show? Who? Joe West. Like just when I watch it, I don't know, maybe it's just something stuck in my brain, but when I watch him, he's like, so yeah, where's that Speed Force bazooka?
It's tough because like
he looks so done with it.
The shows have found
what
so
we calling
much.
it this week? Speed bazooka. All right, but
I don't
give me
care.
that check.
Yeah. These shows have done such a good. They found so much success by not hiding their superhero roots, by just embracing them and not doing what shows in the past did by trying to cover it up.
Yeah.
The problem is you've lost. Like, I would love to see if somebody came to me and said, DJ, you're writing the Flash movie. I was like, okay, you need to focus on the two things the show doesn't do. One, we actually need to see Barry use his brain and be a CSI and be a detective. And also you need to have the rogues be the bad guys and focus on the rogues as a unit, because the show hasn't done that and there's a lot of mileage you could get out of it.
Those are good pitches, man.
Yeah, and
Done.
so it's
Greenlit.
like, yeah, and so it's, I would love, the show's so big. There's a lot, like, I feel like of all the shows, this is the one that could trim the fat the most. Like,
Yes.
all these shows need an adult. I hate to say get rid of Joe because you need the adult.
You need the Quentin Lance. You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
Because they add a lot. Because again, like, I think, weirdly enough, I think Kat is the best example of it, but that one that grounds all the, like, weird shit.
But the show does
younglings.
work when they're not there, but the show gets a lot better when they are
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you could say Harry, because, like, I don't know how many times you can keep doing the bit of
Honestly,
him being from somewhere else.
I would trim down the Star Labs cast to Barry, who's the new girl that we just introduced?
Tracy Moran.
Tracy and Cisco. And then have Caitlin show up sporadically, have Harry show up sporadically, but that's your core, that's it.
Caitlin seems to be, I think she's kind of piecing out for like a little bit.
Yeah.
At least it feels like it. I feel like she'll be gone longer than Barry will be gone.
Yeah. And then give Iris something to fucking to do. Like, just have her be like,
she needs to be the reporter that they've hinted that she's going to be, but we've never seen her do her job ever.
You see her get in trouble for investigating, and then that's it. Yeah.
Talking about like if what I would do if I was told to write something like either Lois Lane or an Iris, weirdly, my point of reference would be what iZombie did with Major in season 1. Because he's supposed to be just the dumb love interest, and they gave him so many compelling things to do, and his life is fucking wrecked by the secrets that other people are keeping, but he's still compelling. And it's like, why can't we write female love interest this way? Like, why a male love interest, we nail it, but a female
the
love.
The CW has this really weird thing that they do with they have this model that they stick to with how they write their women, and they never break from it.
Yeah.
That sucks.
And it's what killed. And fortunately, we've evolved past it with Laurel, because we killed her. Because Iris is literally stuck in the same, like, it's not the actress.
She's in the Laurel position.
She's exactly in the Laurel position. And it's one of those, it makes me wish that they'd waited to introduce Black Canary and they'd waited to introduce Iris. Like, I feel like it would have been better for a lot of reasons if Iris had remained the cousin and Joe was Wally's dad. And so he grew up with Wally, because that tracks, because they're brothers.
Sure.
And so now it's not him making out with his sister, it's him making out with his cousin.
Oh, definitely
which is
way hotter.
But it's slightly better. It's slightly better. It's slightly better.
Why? It's brother sister love. I don't get why you hate it so much.
You know, it's interesting, like, talking about the character to knock out of this show, because you are right. Like, this show is too fat, like with too many people. But the problem is that there's so many characters in the show that are kind of equally kind of like not being used. Like, part of me almost, to be honest with you, when they first introduced the idea in this season that, like, Savitar was going to kill Iris, I actually thought Iris was going to die.
Yeah.
And what they were going to do is that
introduce an evil other Earth Iris, like they did with Black Canary.
Well, not quite that, but I thought they were going to do something to where she disappeared in the time stream, kind of what they did during the Wally West run. Remember when Iris, like, everybody thought Iris was dead, and then she comes back from the future, and she's like, "No, I've learned all this other stuff, and I'm going to tell you about your future and whatever."
That'd be cool.
I thought they were going to do that. They were going to, like, somebody was going to suck her into the future and save her or whatever, and she was going to be gone for, like, maybe 5 episodes the next season. Then she was going to show up and be like, no, let me tell you about your next villain, because I learned all about your entire life, Barry, and we have too many kids. Seriously, too many kids. But I don't know.
And sometimes they have powers and sometimes they don't. It's very weird.
But this season kind of proved to me that, I think Iris is, like, permanently safe from death now. And I don't want to lose Joe, because Jesse L. Martin is, like, the best actor on the show.
But man, I mean, watch it. Maybe just skim through some of the more recent episodes.
I agree with you.
He looks just like, either it's him trying to look worn out because of all this time travel shit. I feel like at some point it's okay for his character to be like, you know what, I can't. I can't.
To me, it's between I love Tom Cavanaugh, but to me it's between moving him to a recurring character, not in every, or it's Caitlin. Like I could lose either one of them, because as Killer Frost, it's like, well, as Killer Frost, if we only see her like 4 episodes next season, I'd be fine with that, especially if Tracy replaces her. Yeah, which I hope happens, because Tracy is amazing. She's and a way better actress.
Well, and also, and again, just the idea, like she's an older actress, so she's part of the adult
she helps
idea.
Age it up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she adds some diversity into the.
Also, I loved House, and she was on House.
Oh, was she?
There you go. And I was like, when I saw her, I was like, cool, good for you.
Who did you say?
Yeah, I was going to say seriously for you. Who would you?
Julian. He can go away. Like, I mean, we
didn't even mention Julian.
Yeah, it's just because everybody's like, he's gone.
Because he doesn't feel like part of the show.
He's coming back, but it's like, if you needed to get rid of someone just to kind of like,
even though I
barely had anything, I did too, but he barely had anything to do in the finale. It was more like, oh shit, I remember like when Wally went off to Earth 3 to have sex with Jesse. Well, Julian went off to make blue stuff with your mom.
Kool-Aid. Yeah, for the longest time, I actually thought they were going to reveal that he was going to be the real villain of season 3, because they did that Dr. Alchemy reveal, and you found out it was him, and I was kind of disappointed by that when you saw him talking to Savitar, because when they first introduced him, if you know anything about like Dr. Alchemy in the comic books, he is like this sort of schizophrenic. There's 2 origins for him. There's one where it's like it's 2 twins, they're 2 brothers, and the first brother gets killed by something and with the Flash, and the second brother takes up the identity. There's another version where he's a schizophrenic, and he takes these 2 identities, and one of them is like, it's not Julian, it's Alpert Desmond, I think is his name in the comic books. But anyways, I thought you were going to find out that Dr. Alchemy was the Flashpoint Julian Alpert. And in Flashpoint, he had superpowers. And somehow he had the Philosopher's Stone. And like when Barry reset the timeline, he didn't get rewritten. And so like in this universe, there were 2 Julian Alperts. The one that we know that just kind of hates Barry because he's lazy and never works. And then the second one who is the villain
so justified. I've never felt so justified in somebody hating Barry. You're like, he's never there. I totally get it.
So actually, I thought that I thought they were going to do that for the longest time, because to kind of keep the comic book story, but like explicitly like have a tie to Flashpoint, because when you think about this, Savitar really doesn't have anything to do with Flashpoint.
I was way more on board with this season when they were doing Dr. Alchemy.
Yeah, me too.
He switched it up, and he was somebody that you couldn't just speed punch into submission. You know what I mean?
You could kind of. I mean, they did, and then the mask fell off, and they were like, "Oops."
But I wish they'd done that.
It's Malfoy.
Anyway. So, but your vote is Julian.
Yeah, because I like the dads too much. I like the dad, and maybe Danielle Panabaker, because she had a lot of good scenes this season where it was like, "Oh, there's your acting." Like there you go.
When she's Frost, she's really good.
And like when she was doing surgery on herself, and they're like, "No, don't take off the keychain, whatever she's got around her neck." That was a really cool scene. But Tracy's better. I'm excited to see her. Hopefully she comes back and she's a regular, because I liked her a lot. But anyways, get rid of Julian. But for Arrow, it was weird when they were all like about to blow up. I was like, crap, this cast is big.
It's a really big cast.
But weirdly, it utilizes it better than Flash. I guess because
way better than Flash.
Yeah, it's so weird because I think it's because in Flash, it's like all those speedsters. It's like, how do you not stop every crime ever? And this one, it's like, you can't, even with 5 people, you can't be everywhere.
Here's the
other
thing too. Compare the 2 finales. Compare Flash finale. Compare Arrow's finale. Arrow's finale, when we get to the big villain, is this giant just fight scene with stuntmen and like camera shots, stuff like that, and just people hitting each other. Yeah. Flash is a 4-minute CGI shot.
Yeah. Hey, that was dope though.
It looked cool, but like
Jay, Wally, and Barry.
But it is an interesting comparison, because to be honest with you, I kind of think I like the real fight of stuntmen better. I really did.
I always do.
I was cool. I still like my speedster.
Even though he changes the dynamic a little bit, my go-to would be to say put Mr. Terrific on Legends.
I like that idea.
Yeah, you got 2 tech people. It's kind of like you built him up. Now he's like ready to go. He's ready to go save the world.
He is the guy that kind of stands out.
Yeah, him with his T-spheres. I think his costume's really fucking cool.
It is.
It's so cool.
So good.
Once they introduced the black and white jacket, and I've always been blown away that they pulled off the mask. Like every time he has that mask, I'm like, that's so cool that they did that. How do you have time
to do all your hair and put on that mask?
The T-spheres, baby.
Oh, the T-spheres. Oh, they do it. But wait, when they make the adrenaline shot in the T-sphere, I was like, now we're getting cool. Like now we're getting now we're having fun with the character. And I'm fine with if he were to go away, because also that was a weak part for the finale for me, is when he was making his jokes. Actually, every time he makes jokes, it's a weak point for the show.
I think he would add something like him and Mick would have a lot to play off of each other.
He could actually fill in the Ray role. If you knock Ray off, he fits in the Ray role well, and also does the other thing you were talking about, diversifies the cast.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'd love to see, and they have like a weirder, bigger CGI budget over on Legends.
Yep.
At least it feels like it. So get more T-spheres, get like 90 of them.
Also, that really helps too, because Legends sort of has that JSA feel, and Mr. Terrific is a member of the JSA.
Yeah.
You know, my pick is still Thea. I think Thea just really serves no purpose on this show. If she's not Speedy, she serves no purpose. Get rid of her.
Didn't Guggenheim or someone of the
He
main...
said that they'll never kill her.
Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, well,
again,
let her
you can
leave.
Exactly. You can still have her go find Roy and be happy with Roy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Roy's
she don't need
one, yeah,
Roy.
Roy's the one member of this cast that you're just like, it is a little weird that he didn't recruit Roy.
Yeah, if show up at some point.
But I guess the actor doesn't want to be on the show anymore.
I don't know.
What an idiot.
He said he's happy to come back whenever, but I call bullshit.
I call bullshit as well.
He did have a really good comeback episode where he came back, like I think it was when Oliver was dead for a second, and he came on for one episode, and I was like, okay, you're cool. Like this redeemed all those like that weird season where you had nothing to do.
I liked Roy and his crazy parkour.
No, oh yeah, I love when he tried to block Thea and he like did a flip over a car. It was like just get around her, just walk around her. It's faster than the flip. But yeah, I'd say or Wild Dog, because you kind of left him being a deadbeat dad because he got kidnapped and he missed his
He was a deadbeat
daughters.
dad because he was kidnapped, though.
Yeah, no, I know, but like
yeah.
it's just like, but overall he didn't actually have a lot to do this entire season. Mr. Terrific did. He like at least was improving himself.
They redeemed Wild Dog for me because I really didn't like him when he first showed up. I was like, oh, he's just a clear cliche. But like they actually turned me around. I'm actually kind of happy that he's part of the squad.
Remember when he fixed gun violence? He just solved the gun problem.
He did.
I like that episode a lot.
Did.
No, I like it too.
But I do want that special. I think it was the last time I did the show.
Yeah.
How did they figure it out?
I don't know. I just know that hospital scene was real great.
Send it to Congress.
Stephen Amell has done top-notch work this season.
So we have to get rid of him, is what you were saying.
He's the one that we need.
He's too good.
Yeah.
And so
You
we're
know,
like,
the sad thing about it, though, is that now they've gotten rid of Roy. When he leaves the show, Arrow's done.
oh, definitely.
Because here's the thing: you can
William will probably be an adult by then, and they'll do him as.
Didn't he age up really fast? Like I remember, like they went and visited him.
puberty's weird. All right,
It
Gross
is weird,
spurts, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's the same actor. I wouldn't even be able to tell you. That's how much I don't care about William.
It's been 2 years, and now
because he's
like
not
13.
Connor Hawk? Is that why?
A little bit.
Yeah.
But also the kid actor, and kid actor's a problem. The kid actor's not good.
That's fair.
Wait, the one on this recent episode, like, or you mean the original one?
I don't know. Is it the same kid? I have no idea.
Not a damn clue.
There's no way to find out.
No, and I will never find out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up on the Googles.
Damn it. So wait, who is yours?
But Mr. Terrific on Legends.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Although I do like the idea. Again, I would like Theodore because I think she's a very talented actress. Like the stuff they redeemed because she was so annoying in season 1. Season 2, she was great. I think that she seems like she's done with the show.
She's seemed like that for years.
Yeah.
now.
So I'd say give her bye bye.
Yep.
And so Thea and Mr. Terrific, we can both shed that a little bit.
It's the same kid, Jack Moore. It's the same kid that's played it all the way through.
That's so weird.
Yep. So he hit his growth spurt.
Okay, good for
There
him.
is I watched The Americans and the son
that show.
The son on that show, like in between
Oh my
seasons,
God.
like whoa
Henry?
he's like taller than his dad and shit, and you're like, and the tough part with shows like that is it's a compressed timeline.
Yeah.
So in the time of the show, it's been like a week.
I think at the time of the show, like they're in their 5th season, but I think they've said like only 3 years has passed.
Yeah.
But like not for that kid.
No, he's almost a grown ass man.
Yeah. He's almost taller than dad.
Yeah.
He has to shave more than the dad.
Yeah, that show is amazing.
That show is great.
Well, that's a pretty good question. Do you want to talk about news just real quick? Because we've been talking
we've
long time.
We've run a little bit long.
Oh, well.
The news is not. It's Venom. They shouldn't be doing it.
Don't do it.
Silver and Black, don't do it.
Don't do it.
But that feels less offensive to me.
Wrong.
Because Venom is so. I just did a video on this. Venom is so connected to Spider-Man. Like there's no. What makes Venom is Spider-Man.
How much money did they offer Tom Hardy to get him to say yes to this?
One, apparently he's a fan of Venom. Also, he clearly likes doing this shit because he was supposed to be in Suicide Squad.
He was going to be Colonel Rick Flag.
Yeah, he wants that superhero money, man.
Kind of glad he missed it.
My dream casting.
I kind of wish he had been because it might have helped the movie a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what that made that movie work is the charisma of like the main actors.
The
like Will
actors.
Smith, elevated what he was given a lot. My dream role for Tom Hardy is I want to see him as Orion.
Oh, interesting.
I would like to see him as. I think he'd kill it as Orion.
Because he's a dick.
No, just because again, he's charismatic, he's tough. I could just see him, especially like the new 52 costume of Orion, which I love.
Which I love too. Yeah, the
redesign. Yeah, man, so cool. I've got the action figure over there.
I have that same action figure, buddy.
It's so fucking cool, man. I just think
bunch of nerds.
I think Orion's a fucking cool character, and you put him in a role like that. Weirdly enough, I actually think he'd make a really good Superman. It'd be because,
now that's crazy talk.
No, because I think
he'd be a good Bizarro.
No, because I think like you look at Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford does a good job of being very rugged, but then you put him in the suit and the glasses, you're like I'm going to change
it. I'll put Tom Hardy in a Superman movie. He's Metallo.
No, because he would be a good Metallo, but I think if you've seen him in what's that movie where he plays both the two Cray brothers, A Legend.
Yep.
I think he's gotten into, he likes to play the gruff, mumbly, tough guy, but he can also be very charming, charismatic. I think he could do both parts really well and really sell a masculinity to Superman while giving him the heart.
Go watch Taboo if you haven't. Tom Hardy in that show is great.
He's the best part of that show. Yep. I watched the first couple episodes and was not blown away.
Finish it. The season's finishes strong.
But he in it, it's clearly the story he wrote for himself, and he murders it.
If we were gonna have Tom Hardy play a villain, let us know on Twitter. It should be Venom or Bizarro. I vote for Bizarro because he grumbles.
Also,
and pale him up. I want to see what he looks like.
Also, New Mutants, I guess, is going to be it sounds like they're making it a slasher flick, basically.
Why?
It also sounds like they're casting Rosario Dawson as Cecilia Reyes.
Yeah. So I mean,
interesting choice.
At first, I was like, horror movie, no costumes, no villain, and then I'm like, no, you have to do something different at this point. Although I don't care about the X-Men franchise unless you connect it to the MCU, because you've done it. You've done it all.
We've been running overtime, so I think we're gonna start winding. No, it's not a bad thing. We talked about a lot of important things. I'm glad we agreed that Flash had the best finale. I think that's the takeaway. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. Do a little plug for all the kids.
Guys, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Jawin, Jawin. I do all kinds of Flash reviews and Arrow reviews and all kinds of stuff over there. We're going to do theory videos through the summer because the shows are gone. So I'm going to be like, this is what I think is going to happen in season 5 and 6, and Ragman's going to save them all. And then also you can listen to Geek History Lesson on iTunes and all that kind of stuff. If you want to learn nerdy things, we got a big... we have a Wonder Woman episode coming up.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
And we have Susan Eisenberg, the voice of Wonder Woman from Justice League, on our episode.
No way.
Yeah, she is lovely and nice.
Is she in
Injustice?
Yeah,
she is the voice of Wonder Woman.
Because when I was playing Injustice, like they got the whole gang back together. Like every time a voice came out, it's like it's all Justice League.
It's all the Justice League actors. Yeah.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. And this lucky duck also saw Wonder Woman. And
I have.
No spoilers. I'm very jealous. DJ?
Yes. At DJ Talks Trash. Everywhere that matters. Yeah.
Sam Basher. Also, guys, thank you so much for contributing to our Patreon. Tune in. This is going up Friday. So Saturday, we're doing the first Google Hangout at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All you beautiful moist little ears. I got to make sure I get the verbiage right. You're going to be seeing these boy people face to face. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to be asking questions and giving you only stupid answers.
People have already thrown out suggestions on what we should talk about.
I'm very excited. But thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. I was going to go for a harmony.
Oh.
Next time.
Jason was in there.
And we have a barbershop triplet.